Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our today's GA Stellar session. I'm Prashant Srivastava. I'm a Google expert. I've been into this industry for almost a decade now, and I've closely worked with product optimization and product development teams. So having said that, today we'll be discussing a lot in detail about Google Analytics and how we can use it to improve our daily data monitoring to get those insights, which can help us leverage the right decisions and improve the overall account score. So I'll not waste a lot of time here, and let's quickly jump on to today's agenda. So as I mentioned today, we'll start with a quick introduction to Google Analytics and the benefits that we have in place of using this advanced monitoring tool. We'll also talk about data collection in Google Analytics, in which we'll cover several pointers like having a strong foundation through the right tagging. Because we have seen that most of the organizations are missing out on the essential aspects of data because their tagging is not correct. So we'll definitely discuss that and make sure that everyone is in line with the new provisions. We'll also talk about future proofing with the help of Google Analytics, like how this tool is future proof, how you can, irrespective of the changing trends wherein data security is becoming a great measure, irrespective of that, how you can still track data and get the right conversions attributed against your campaigns and ad structures. We'll also be talking about enabling user-provided data in Google Analytics, and we'll talk how user ID can help you measure data across multiple platforms and get the right insights in time. Last but not the least, we'll also cover understanding Google Analytics audiences and some key events that you can create to track the user activity on your website or your application in the best way possible, and later use that in the form of insights to leverage the right decisions. So with this week, we'll quickly start on with today's introduction to Google Analytics. So Google Analytics is actually a tool innovated with a future-focused approach. You must have also observed that in the past few years, the requirement of data and the way people are reacting for their data being tracked is changing a lot. Now, most of the users are not ready to share access to track their activity online. And this often results in a lot of misses happening in the data, a lot of gaps happening in the data structures, which later impact the number of conversions that you're recording against your Google ads. And thus, it becomes very difficult for businesses to take right decisions. So yeah, Google Analytics is a future-focused tool. It's built for a privacy-centric ecosystem. So users who want their data to be private, it stays in line with that policy and still tries to track the best possible data insights, which can later be leveraged to take the right decisions. It's highly scalable and evolving business model. So no matter if you're just hitting the market or your business is there for a good duration, you can still use this tool as it's highly scalable. It can serve your purpose for all kind of industry sizes. It also incorporates a lot of flexibility in terms of data addition, like it can be used for calculating data, for tracking data online. Plus, you can also have the flexibility to upload data from time to time, which can later be attributed to the right campaign structures which were running for your business. And therefore, it provides you an overall a holistic view of insights. It's also a very powerful tool because it leverages Google's machine learning, which is currently just for Google specific tools. So it leverages that Google machine learning to model data. And what is data modeling? That's something we'll definitely discuss down the road. Also, it has a seamless integration property, like it's very easy to integrate with your applications or with the website. So it makes the overall task very easy. Now, when we say that it's innovated for a future perspective or future approach, why do we say that? So Google Analytics works on three kind of data modeling. First is consented, second is first party, and then comes modeled. So what is consented? It adapts to the privacy demands of users. So for example, you're using, say, an iOS device, and when you're installing a new app, you don't want the app to track your activity. So this is where you're actually providing your consent to get tracked or not. If in case you agree to it, system like any third-party application can track the entire user activity, can track your behavior, your actions that you're taking on different applications. However, if you refuse to it, that's where data gaps starts getting created. Your data is not getting tracked rightly, and that can always create issues for the organizations running in the backend to trying to use that data to make the right marketing decisions. Then, first party. So it enables you to collect and use first party data to understand and engage with your users. Now, all the users in the market want to see ads which are as per their needs, as per their requirements. If they get to see something which falls totally in line with what they're searching for, the chances of those users to click on those ad copies are definitely higher. However, if you show them a generic ad copy, which is not totally in line with what their search query is, there's a high chance that they might not uh, click on that particular ad copy, or they might simply, even if they do, they might simply just bounce back. So 71% of consumers now expect to receive personalized interactions, for which first-party data tracking is actually a very important function that you should be looking at. Third comes modeled. So it enhances your first-party data with modeling to fill in the gaps from cookie loss and measurement restrictions. So that just mentioned, the users who are not agreeing for their data to be tracked, this might create huge gaps in the backend data, which makes it very difficult for the system to attribute the conversions against the right ad structure or campaign structure, which means that businesses now would be losing a lot of data insights and hence might not be in a position to make the right marketing decisions in time. So Google Analytics actually uses an approach named modeling, wherein it tries to link the right actions, the right conversion actions to the actual ad structure that initiated that particular conversion. And hence it tries to give you an overall holistic view of how the end users reacted to your ad copies, which helps you with those insights that can be later leveraged into taking the right decisions. Now, Google Analytics uses Google machine learning, which is like an exclusive feature for Google specific products. And with this, it provides you two kind of insights, automated and predictive. Now comes the question, what is automated insights or what is predictive insights? So we'll definitely discuss that. Talking about automated insights, it automatically tries to surface insights on major data changes and emerging trends. For example, you're an e-commerce business, you have 10 other businesses competing in the market with you, and they say there is a business which starts spending a lot of money for a certain product category, that might create a market shift. So Google Analytics can definitely help you track that kind of market shift happening for a certain product or a certain business category. It also analyzes user behavior over their lifetime as a customer. For example, say your ad gets triggered to a new user, the user clicks on your ad copy, goes to your website, adds the product to the cart but did not purchase it. Later, the user comes back through a different channel, makes a purchase, subscribe to your product, or subscribe to your newsletter, and do actions, perform actions like that, and then stays with the business for a span of say 6 months or 8 months or 12 months. So it tries to analyze the entire user journey, starting from the point where user first click on the ad copy to the entire duration that this user spent with the business. It also tries to detect anomalies within your data. So say there is something which is not usual, like the market shift happening, which is not usual, or the way your data is getting tracked, that is not usual, or say you have placed a conversion action, a secondary conversion action for users playing your video or subscribing to your services. And now system feels that it's been say 3 weeks and no one has clicked on it. So that could be an anomaly, right? People might be clicking on it. It's just that tracking is not working in the right manner in the back. So it will try to show you that, yeah, these kind of anomalies might be there and you need to recheck your tracking, your tagging. Talking about predictive analytics, so it tries to predict the purchase, churn, or revenue probability. For example, if the user clicked on your ad and how much your product is how many clicks your product is getting, what is the CTR your product is getting, your product ads are getting. Based on that, how much revenue probability you have in 4 weeks down the road or 2 months down the road. It gives you that sort of predictive analytics. It also helps you predict and build the audience which might be the right fit for your product category, so that you can leverage that audience and improve the conversion results that you're achieving in your account. Now, how you can unlock the power of your data by acting on insights to drive stronger business results. So there are two things that you can definitely look at when you're using Google Analytics. For example, there might be businesses which want to leverage multiple advertising platforms and not just Google Ads. So they might be wanting to use display and video as 360. They might be wanting to use search as 360, purchasing impressions to or booking reservations to show their ads on a certain area for a certain audience type for some duration. So they might be wanting to take these actions. So now, if you're using any tool other than Google Ads, how will you track it? So Google Analytics definitely provides you that integration functionality, which can be leveraged to integrate it with multiple other marketing platforms as well. And then you can have access to those deep insights, which then later be used for taking the right marketing decisions. Talking about building. So if we talk about data, it's very difficult to look at Excel or reports and understand how exactly different marketing platforms are behaving. So you can also integrate Google Analytics with BigQuery to create some interactive dashboards, high-performing interactive dashboards that can be used to understand how users are reacting to your products or services on different platforms. And this will help you with those essential insights based on which you can understand how your data is behaving, how your ads are behaving. Talking about data collection. So having strong ad structure in place, having strong product category, having the right creatives to show those product ads to the end users, doing the right audience targeting. These are some pillars on which you can build the foundation of a very strong business. But if you're not tracking or monitoring how users are interacting with the product and services, it becomes very difficult to do the optimizational changes from time to time. For example, you have launched 10 different creatives. Now they are getting conversions, but you're not sure from which creative these conversions are coming in. You won't know which creatives to put in your campaign and let them be running, or which creatives to remove from your campaign structures. Hence, right tagging should also be in place. That serves as another pillar to provide you some essential insights which can be used for optimization purposes. Now, based on the research that we have done in the past, we have realized that less than 50%, like almost 43% of the organization have actually enabled tagging across their website and product application. Majority of the businesses are still missing out on this tagging implementation, due to which they're missing out on a lot of data, which is creating issues for them to take the right marketing decisions. Now, talking about conversion measurement and how it's so critical for data attribution in bidding. Say you have a website, you have an application, you're tagging it completely, like you're cross-tagging it, you're making sure all the product pages are getting tagged and getting tracked. Once you do this, system helps you with two kind of conversions, observed and modeled. Observed are the conversions which are happening directly and you're able to track from which source these conversions are coming in. And modeled are the one where users are not actually allowing you to track their activities, still, which is creating gaps in tracking, but still system is helping you link those conversions with the actual ad copies which influence those actions. So it will help you with these kind of conversions. Then comes attribution and incrementality, like these conversions get attributed to the right campaign structures, right ad copies, the keywords which were running to get these conversions, which can later be leveraged by smart bidding to optimize your bidding and help you participate in the right auctions at the right time. That can ultimately impact your revenue. And also you can make certain targeting or creative decisions, for example, removing certain creatives, adding more targeting options to get an overall incremental impact in terms of revenue. So this is how right tagging can help you with right data, which will ultimately influence your optimization decision. Now talking about how you can collect first-party data. So you have definitely two options, Global Site Tag and Google Tag Manager. Both of these options are actually based on the new changing trends of data security and can be leveraged to have the right tagging enabled across your website and application. For example, global site tag, it's next generation tagging setup for your website or app. It works with Google Ads, Google Analytics, DV360, SA360, and CM360 as well. However, with global site tag, you'll have to place the scripts manually across multiple pages, which might be a little time consuming, for which we have Google Tag Manager in place. So it improves your performance. It reduces the amount of code that you need to put on the website. It is also secured and consent focused. So it can make your work really easy, and you can leverage this option to have, for example, you have an e-commerce website with 1,000+ pages. It's very difficult to use global site tag in those scenarios. So you can definitely use GTM to make sure that you are tagging each page of your website and tracking it. Now, talking about latest tagging solutions that help you navigate the overall changes. So you can use any of these options, be it Google Tag Manager or Global Site Tag. Both of these options and next generation can be integrated with your GA4 account structures to help you with the right data. It also helps you with tracking enhanced conversions and work as per the consent mode requirements. For example, if the users are providing you consent to track their activity or not. So it works in compliance with that. Both of these are next generation security and performance tagging setups. These are server-side tagging in GTM, and it leverages browser's API to be placed and work for tagging the user activity. Talking about some of the common implementation issues which you might have seen with Google Tag. So with Google Tag, we have seen that most of the organizations do not enable auto tagging, which is actually very much needed for the effective data measurement and effective data track. So turning on auto tagging in your Google Ads account is actually one of the most important steps that you should be focusing on when you are linking your GA4 accounts with your Google Ad accounts. Then most of the businesses also do not implement site-wide tagging. So if you have multiple pages on the website, there could be n number of chances when user might land on a page which you feel is not very relevant, and later goes to your product page and makes a conversion. If you're not tagging those pages properly, you might not be able to track how these users are behaving to your product, behaving for your product or services. If they're purchasing them, if they're just adding them to the cart, if they're just bouncing back, you'll lose access to this sort of data. So it's essential, no matter if the page looks relevant for the business or not, it's essential to have a site-wide tagging. Then businesses also rely on legacy tags. Now the question is, what are legacy tags? So legacy conversion tags were actually the previous version of Google Ads or Floodlight tags, which use third-party cookies for data tracking. Now these can still be used. However, they might create a lot of challenges with your final data. Your data might be tracked twice, or it might miss out on certain conversions. So it's always essential to switch from the legacy tags to global site tag or GTM implementation to have the right tag in place. Then cross-domain tracking not implemented. So if businesses have cross domains, if they have multiple domains working for their business, it's essential to use cross-domain tracking so that system is aware as in from which source this user came in and made a purchase. If you don't have that enabled, it might track the source as direct, which would be the wrong thing, because it's your secondary domain which is redirecting the user to your first domain, which is ultimately resulting into a conversion in your account. However, the source, if the source appears as direct, after some time you might miss out on this data and not get an understanding as how or what this data is. Now comes future-proofing with user-provided data in GA. So this is where I would like to call in Vasanthi to take you with the second session of today's presentation. Over to you, Vasanthi.
Hey, Shashank. Sorry. Hello, team. Sorry about that. Yeah, so let me quickly give a little introduction about myself. So this is Vasanthi, and I come up with 7+ years of experience in digital ads, Google Ads ecosystem. So currently associated with Google as a project coordinator, and I also work along with Shashank as a project coordinator. So let me take you and walk you through the upcoming slides. Okay, let's talk about why the first party data you get directly from users, things like their email addresses or phone numbers, is becoming so incredibly important for accurate measurement and targeting. As privacy changes continue to reduce our reliance on traditional cookies, this data is absolutely key, and it helps mainly in three ways. First, for user journey measurement, this data helps us get a much richer picture of who our audience is and what they are interested in. It gives us a way to understand their entire journey, even in a world with fewer cookies. Second, for conversion measurement, we use a powerful feature called enhanced conversions. So when a user gives their email address, your site can securely send a scrambled or hashed version of it. Google, if that user was also logged into Google with that same email when they saw one of your ads, Google can then connect the dots more accurately. This gives us much better conversion reporting, so you know your ad spend is truly working. And thirdly, for audience activation, this is all about the customer match list that you regularly use. We can upload list of your own customers using their hashed emails directly into your Google Ads. This lets us easily find those users on Google's platforms and target them with personalized ads, which is a super efficient way to reach the right people as a third-party cookie disappears soon. Now let's understand how to enable user-provided data in Google Analytics. First, look down at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, which is like a settings icon. That's your admin settings button. So click on that. Once you're in the admin session, you will want to navigate to the data collection and modification section under the property column. This is where you will find all the important settings related to how your data is collected and also processed. Finally, inside this section, you will see specific option called data collection. Simply click on that. This is where you will find the main controls and toggles for a lot of those key features we've been talking about, such as about the enabling this Google signals and enabling this enhanced conversions, and also managing your data retention period and controlling how user provided data is handled. Okay, so this slide is very straightforward. It's essentially showing us exactly where to go in Google Analytics to enable or disable the switch for collecting that important first party data we've been talking about. So this is very critical step. No matter how you have set up your website tagging, you have to turn this on inside Google Analytics. So you have to navigate your, navigate into data collection section in the admin section. This is where you enable the user provided data connection. So when you turn this on, particularly this feature, you are allowing Google Analytics to use privacy safe and scrambled user information like those hashed emails. This is very critical for Google to accurately link ad clicks to sales. And also it improves your conversion tracking, and you will get a clearer view of your audience across all the devices, always with user consent and policy awareness. And this is a continuation of the last slide. Once you enable the user provided data collection, you will see a red box down that says collect automatically detected user provided data. This is an optional setting, but it's very good idea to turn it on. When it's on, Google Analytics will automatically get that privacy safe scrambled user data from your website. And this is super helpful because it improves your tracking accuracy. Just a heads up, make sure your existing Google tag is set up to allow this automatic detection. And as always, remember that by turning this on, you are agreeing to Google's privacy policies. All right. So if you are using GTag on your website, you turn on user provided data for your data stream. First, you will go to admin section, and then under data collection and modification, you have to click on the data streams. From there, just pick the specific website data stream you want to update. And under that, Google tag section is available. Click on configure tag settings. Once you're there, you will see an option to allow user provided data capabilities. You will want to click on that. And this is what actually helps keep the data private by making sure it's scrambled before it's captured. Next, you get to choose exactly how you want to include that user provided data. As you see on the screen, you have few options here. You can add a small code snippet directly to your website, or you can simply automatically select user provided data, which is the easiest version to do it. Or if you are a little more technical and you know more technical part, you can use selectors or JavaScript variables to define this data. Now, if you are using GTM to handle this automatically, there are few steps that you should follow. First, you'll have to click on the allow user provided data capabilities. Then within your tag configuration, you will need to enable include user provided data from your website. And from there, in the variable configuration, you will simply select automatic collection. Now, if you, okay. So now let's understand how to measure activity across platform with user ID. One of the biggest challenges businesses face these days is that their customer data is spread out in different places or silos, like their website data, their app data, and their in-store sales. It's really, really hard to connect it all together. That's where user ID comes into play. It's a very special private ID we give to logged in users when a user logs in. Google Analytics can use this ID to see all the different things that one person does across all their devices and count them as a single user. This is super powerful because it lets us pull all those different data silos together. We can connect web interactions and also the offline interactions and also app interactions and even data from your own data warehouses to get a complete customer profile. So by bringing all of this together with user ID, we get a much more accurate picture of our customers, and then we can take all that connected data and send it to your BigQuery to do some really advanced analysis. And this slide is pretty important because it shows us how user ID helps us actually measure what people are doing across all their devices or on their platforms. The main thing we can do here is to compare our signed in users with those who aren't signed in from your websites or apps. You can see on the left how easy to set this up in Google Analytics. What you have to do is you just have to select signed in with user ID option and set it to yes. Then on the right side, you get a graph like this picture. The blue line shows everyone and the orange line shows just your signed in users. This lets us directly compare things like how many users we have, how engaged they are, or their total revenue. So it's a very great way and to really understand the value of those logged in customers and non-logged in customer to see how they behave differently from your anonymous users. Now let's understand measure activity across platforms with user ID. We can do this in two really powerful things. First, we can use a feature called user exploration. This is fantastic feature because it lets us actually look at individual users and their full customer journey, everything they did on our website or app. It gives you a detailed step-by-step understanding of their behavior. Secondly, this is a very important one and very huge one to understand. For your ad campaigns, we can create much smarter remarketing audiences based on that user ID. This means we can reach the person, not just a device with our ads, because we know they complete cross-device history when you are using user ID. By leveraging user exploration and also the user ID based on remarketing, you can gain a deeper understanding of your audience and you can even personalize their experience and improve the effectiveness of your ad campaigns. These are just few of the ways user ID can help you maximize the value of your GA4 data. Now, let's talk about the ads personalization. And this slide is mainly about the Google signals and why is it so important to turn on. Basically, when users are logged in into Google, this helps us understand their customer journey better across all their devices, whatever they're using. It could be mobile phone, or it could be their tablet, or it could be their computer. Like if they start browsing on their phone and later finish their purchase on their computer. So why do we want it? It gives us a richer reports on who our audience is. And crucially, it lets us create smarter remarketing audience for our ads. So it is very simple to turning it on. You just go into Google Analytics admin section, find the data collection option, and enable Google Signals data collection. Just remember one very important thing: when you link your accounts, you have to keep personalized advertising enabled, because that's what allows those powerful audience to actually work in Google Ads. Now, understanding Google Analytics audiences. So we've just seen how to enable Google Signals, and let's explore how to use your Google Analytics data to create some really powerful audiences for more targeting campaigns. This is where you turn data into action and convert those people who are just browsing into actual buyers. So let's use an example here. If you look at the screen, imagine Kate is looking for a new game online. So she visits our website and browses around, but she doesn't buy anything right at the moment when she sees that ad. Now, what happens is that Google Analytics sees she clicked on a particular product but didn't buy that product, and it puts her in a special group of audience. This audience is then shared directly with the Google Ads for targeting for remarketing purpose. Later, when Kate is somewhere else online, maybe reading a news article or watching a video, she starts seeing your ads for the very same products she clicked already on your app or website. That ad brings her back to our website or app, and this time she makes a purchase because you showed a very interesting ad about what exactly she looked in your website or app. This is a perfect example of how our audience in Google Analytics can help you convert browsers into buyers. By targeting users based on their specific behaviors and interests, you can create more relevant and effective advertising campaigns. Okay, so the slide is all about why Google Analytics audience are so useful. Basically, audiences let us group our users in a ways that matter to our business, like people who looked at a specific product or everyone who made a purchase. And the greatest thing is, once you connect Google Analytics to Google Ads, all these audience automatically show up in your Google Ads account. They also update themselves automatically, so your ad targeting is much better and always look fresh, and you don't have to do anything manually. So plus analytics even creates some basic audience for you, like all users or all purchases, to get you started when you don't have any audience set. And if you have Google Signals turned on, you can even create audiences that understand users across all their different devices, like their phone, tablet, and desktop. All of this makes our advertising so much smarter and more personal. Okay, so this slide just shows you where to go in Google Analytics to actually find the manage your audience part. It's super straightforward. You just have to click on the settings icon, which is admin icon, down at the bottom of the screen, and then you will see audiences listed right there in the settings. That's where you go to create and manage all your different groups of users. Also, remember, audiences help us segment our users based on what's important to our business or marketing objectives, whether it's by what they do or where they are from or any other kind of behavior. And now, if you look at the screen, it shows us what happens after we've created an audience in Google Analytics. When you click on any audience, like engaged users or all users here, you get a much deeper report on that specific group. You can see things like how many users are in that audience list, how they've been engaging, and even their conversions. It also breaks down the other useful information, like what devices they use, the exact location. This helps us really understand the volume and also the quality of each of our audience segments, which is super useful for making smart marketing decisions. All right. And this slide shows us 3 main ways we can create new audiences in Google Analytics. First, you can create new audience from scratch. This gives you full control to build exactly the group of users that you want based on any criteria that you can think of. Second, you can use system templates. Analytics always has those pre-made options like recently active users or non-purchases, that who came to your website but never make a purchase, that are super useful for a quick setup when you launch your campaign. And thirdly, which is really cool option, we can create this predictive audiences. This is where Google's AI helps us find users who are likely to do something, likely make a purchase or signing up for something even before they actually do it. It's a great way to target proactively. And the slide dives into predictive audience that we just talked about in the previous slide, which are really smart audience setup that is available in Google Ads. So this is where Google Analytics uses its AI to predict what users are likely to do in the future. Let's say, for example, it can automatically create audiences like likely 7-day purchases. Those are people, our system thinks they might buy your product from your website or app in next 7 days. Or it can identify likely churning users, which means they don't want to come into your website or app. So it will identify such kind of audience and create the relevant ads for those specific audience, and you can show the audience to engage with them to convert them into making to buy your product. Now, how we take all these great audiences we created in Google Analytics and use them directly in Google Ads. Once your analytics is linked to Google Ads, all of those custom groups of users you created, like your purchases or crashing users, automatically show up in your Google Ads account. This is fantastic for remarketing, which means you can show ads specifically to the people who have already visited your website. You can also use these audience to find those new potential customers who are smaller or similar to your best users. And the cool part is when these audience transfer to ads, they already have up to 30 days of user data, so they are ready to use right away. Now, GA4 gives us pre-built audiences. I have talked about this in the previous slides also, which helps you get started right away. Especially for online businesses, these audiences are perfect for targeting users at different stage of their customer journey. So let's talk about one by one. So we have many types of users in Google Analytics that are available. Firstly, paying users. These are your most valuable customers. You can target them with special offers. And secondly, registered users. They have shown interested by signing up. You can send them a discount to engage a first purchase. And then add to cart users. They're very close to buy, but they don't buy. They just add your products into cart. You can show a specific ad to remind them to finish their purchase. And wish list users. Although they like your product, but they don't want to buy at this moment. So what they do is they simply put the particular product in the wish list, later they buy it. So to engage such kind of customers, you can show some offers, or you can tell them that when an item they want goes on a sale. Now, start checkout users. They abandoned the checkout, which means they added something into their cart, but they never make a purchase. A quick reminder ad can bring them back. And next, search for product users. They know what they want. You can show them ads for the specific products they already searched on your website or the app. And finally, browse product users. They've shown interest in a product. You can re-engage them with the ads for those specific items. So this is all about targeting users with the right message at the right moment in the right environment to get those all better results for your marketing campaigns. Now, let's understand Google Analytics key events. We have spent some time talking about audiences, how we group our users. But here is the big question is, how do we actually fill those audiences? How do we know what users are doing so we can put them in a right audience group? Well, that's where events comes into the picture. Events are basically the heartbeat of Google Analytics. They capture everything a user does on your website or app. And if we understand these key events, we can truly measure what's important for business. GA4 has a really flexible option and powerful system for tracking these particular events. You can have events that collect data automatically, or you can set up totally custom ones. This gives us a lot more control over the exact information we're gathering and how we look at it. What are the 4 types of events that we have in Google Analytics? First, we have automatically collected events. These are super basic interaction that GA4 just tracks by itself without you having to do anything extra. Things like when someone first visit your website, when their session starts, or how they logged in, how they stay engaged, and they give us good starting point for understanding activity. Next, we do have enhanced measurement events. These offer even more detail. Think about things like clicks that take users off your website, searches they do on your website, or how they interact with videos. Many of these also track automatically depending on how your site is set up. Again, often with no extra coding. So then there are recommended events. These are events that Google suggests you track, especially for specific industries. For example, if you're in an e-commerce business, there are events Google recommends for retail. By implementing these particular recommendation, you will get the most relevant data for your type of business. And finally, the most flexible option, custom events. These are totally unique to your website or app and your specific business goal. You get to define exactly what you want to track. They do require you to add a bit of code, but they give you ultimate control over your data. So remember how we talked about the key events in the previous slide? Those super valuable actions like purchases or app installs. Tracking these across your app and website gives you a full picture of your whole users. Now, the real power comes when we send these key events to Google Ads as conversions. This unlocks some incredible optimization tools. First, you get this auto bidding. This is where Google Ads can automatically optimize your campaigns to get more of those key events for you, making your advertising super efficient. Second, there is this data-driven attribution that you use in Google Ads. The smart feature figures out how all your different ad interactions actually contribute to a conversion. It helps you bid better and spend your budget more effectively by giving credit where it's due. And for video, we have engaged view conversions. This lets us see when someone watches a YouTube and then converts, showing us the true impact of your video campaigns, even if they didn't click the ad. Ultimately, by connecting these key events to Google Ads, you directly link your ad spend to your business goals. It's all about optimizing for maximum return on investment and making sure your budget drives what matters most for your businesses or marketing campaigns. All right. So we've seen the power of exporting key events to Google Ads just now. Now it's time to take action and make it happen. The message or the core message here is simple: export your Google Analytics key events to Google Ads. Don't miss out on the valuable insight and optimization opportunities that this connection provides. And if you look at the screen, this visual represents that seamless flow of data between GA4 and also Google Ads. By connecting these two platforms, you're unlocking a super powerful synergy that drives better results for your advertising. So remember, exploring these key events allows you to leverage powerful tools like auto bidding and data-driven attribution and also engaged view conversion. So do not wait, connect your GA4 key events to Google Ads, and which is a very crucial step. Okay. So you're ready to export your GA conversions to Google Ads. Let's walk through the 4 simple steps to make it happen. First, ensure your ads linking is enabled. This is the foundational step. You need to connect your GA4 property to your Google Ads account to allow data to flow between the two platforms. This is usually done in the admin section of GA4 under product links. Next, the important key events from GA. Once the linking is established, you can select the specific key events you want to export as a conversion in Google Ads. You'll typically find this option within the conversion settings in the GA4. With your conversion imported, it's time to review Google Ads attribution reports as well. These reports will now include data from your Google Analytics key events, which gives you a comprehensive view of your campaigns which are driving valuable action on your website or app. You can analyze which campaigns, keywords, or ads are contributing most to your conversions. Finally, select an attribution model. Just like I explained, always use data-driven attribution to know from where exactly that you're getting conversions. With this being said, we are done talking about the basic or foundational steps, how to implement Google Analytics and how to connect Google Ads to Google Analytics. Please let us know if you have questions. Our team is always available to answer your questions. Just a click away. So you always reach out to our customer representatives with just a help option in your Google Ads accounts. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today. Hope the session was valuable and insightful. Thank you. Shashank, would you like to add something or yeah? Okay. Shashank might be having a problem to unmute himself. Thank you, team. Thank you. Thank you so much.